Hello everybody, this is a quick explainer of our boundaryless growth model template that we introduced on our blog post. First of all, on the upper part here, you find cohort data. Cohort data is basically, here is the number of existing users at the start of the first month. Here there is also explanation of the cohort retention rate. So you can imagine that after 3 months, these 1,000 users here, 500 of them are lost. And so for the sake of simplicity, we assume that the retention flow, the retention period is completed after 3 months. So you can basically assume that all the users that stay with you after 3 months, they are for the long term. Then there is also the paying users and the existing providers, because we are thinking about a marketplace here, or at least a product that has a marketplace dimension on it. It can be, for example, an extension platform where customers can download applications. So the providers in this case will be the independent software vendors that develop applications. Here you can find the 3 growth loops. Of course, there is the marketing or sales growth loop, where you have essentially, you're tracking how many users convert to paid. You calculate based on the lifetime value that you have to measure and the customer acquisition cost. You basically calculate how much of the new budget that you generate, new future revenues that you generate, you want to invest now into marketing, and this ends up in generating new user acquisitions. Similarly, the content and the viral growth loop are modeled in a way that, for example, for the content, there is an assumption on how many content items the user generates, how they convert then into new visitors, and then conversion to new users. Similarly, for the viral loop, you will see it's fairly intuitive. And also for the last bit, for the network effects flywheel related attraction that you generate, which is calculated in both sides, both the provider side the provider side here and the user side. So at the end of the day, you have, for each month, you have the total new users you generate and the total new providers. And these, of course, are compounded over the months. The yellow numbers here are numbers that you don't have agency on. So, of course, or better, you don't have direct agency on. You cannot change them, but you can make experiments that indirectly will affect them. Will impact them and will improve them, hopefully. So, for example, if you have a percentage of existing users that convert to paying, you can improve this by doing, experiments in messaging or pricing, or you can do experiments in, improving the value proposition of the services and so on. I don't know, let's make another example. So, for example, if you have new content item generated for each new user, of course, you can message them, you can nudge them to make more content, bring them reviews or web pages. So you can definitely impact these, even if you cannot do it directly. The only thing that you can choose directly is how much of the new revenue, which part of the new revenues that you generate through assuming a certain lifetime value for the new user that you acquire, the new paid user that you acquire, and considering the customer acquisition cost of that paid user. So that's an important thing. We are considering LTV and CAC here, based on the paying users. You can decide how much of this new potential future revenues you invest into marketing and therefore generating new acquisitions. So this is a model that covers a very complex platform which has a marketing loop, viral and user-generated content, a marketplace nature. Not all the product platforms will have all these, but this model can be tweaked to, or at least can serve as a basis for you to develop your own growth model. So that's it. So enjoy it, catch up with this, and let us know if there is any issue that you see, or that there's any error, or you want some new features added to this. Thank you so much for listening.